Hello, and welcome to CAI Illinois Ed Talk, our education program for community managers and homeowner leaders. Today's session is called Rules About Tenants. This session is part of our Rules and Regulations Ed Talk track, a series of Ed Talks that will answer some of your most frequently asked questions on creating and enforcing your association's governing documents. My name is Janice Avery, and I am one of thousands of property managers, but among an elite few holding an active Professional Community Association Manager, or PCAM designation from CAI. I've worked in the residential condominium association industry over 17 years, managing both commercial and residential property. I work for the largest property management company in North America. I'm currently managing a condominium community of almost 600 units in Chicago's Streeterville neighborhood, a community of Chicago's near North Side. Today, I'm discussing, should we have requirements for landlords? In a word, yes. Ensuring community harmony calls for guidelines on leasing, and many condominium associations have specific rules for leasing that unit owners who are landlords must follow to care for the property and keep property values high. Let's explore some of those requirements now. Lease type. Require the lease to be a residential condominium lease. The residential condominium lease includes the same basic language as any residential lease, but with one critical distinction. A condo lease will contain a provision saying that it is subject to the terms of the condo rules and regulations and the declaration and bylaws. This requirement will ensure both the landlord and the tenant are aware of any terms affecting the day-to-day use of the property. The condo association's declaration could have any number of limitations on renting, including specifying that units can be used only for residential purposes. Units cannot be used for short-term leasing or leased for only part of the year, or only a certain percentage of units within the community can be leased. Moving. Require strict compliance with rules for moving into and out of the community. It is just not well done to have new residents spreading their belongings all over the property when loading or unloading their moving vehicles, but much less intrusive if items are moved from the vehicle and into the elevator. Here, I can tell you a few stories of new resident personal belongings scattered throughout the hallway and common areas as the new resident decides where movers can place furniture inside the unit. This type of activity is disruptive to the community and causes unneeded conflict and disagreement. Your tenant should provide the community with a mover certificate of insurance for damages to the property caused during moving. Knowing which doors and elevators may be used for the move and what hours moves are allowed will also ensure a smooth entry to the community. Noise. Require the unit owner to explain to their tenant what noise is unacceptable, when the community quiet hours are to be respected, and how to handle situations where noise from other units may exceed the community guidelines. Ever hear of a housewarming party getting out of control? Without carefully explaining noise, visits from the local police or violation notices and fines from the condo association may result, so it is best to explain about noise in advance. Pets. Require the landlord to ensure the community rule for pets is respected. If Fido must be a certain weight or type, will animal registration be required? What about registration or annual fees? Not curbing your dog on the building exterior walls or landscaping, and finally, how your tenants should clean up after any accident. What about guest dogs or service animals? Should specific entrances, exits, or elevators be used for pets? Finally, cover guest pet restrictions and what to do in case of an animal attack. Unit owners must be required to discuss with their tenants how visitors or guests to the community should be handled. No matter if the guests are short-term visitors, housekeepers, dog walkers, personal friends, or kids, it makes condo living easier if guest requirements are noted in advance. so you don't start with one guest only to end up with 3 tenants. Can guests use the building security keys? Should the guest expect services by the condo association or its management? Can the guest have guests? And how to register guests in the community. For example, even if the lease were to say nothing about how long overnight guests could stay, if the condo governing documents limited stays to 3 days, this limit would also apply to the tenant. Amenity use. Among the more important requirements for landlords are their provisions for renters using community amenities. Living in a condo can be as convenient as living in a hotel, where the services and amenities are available everywhere you go, but misunderstandings, as well as injuries or damages, can result from uninformed tenants. Landlords must ensure their tenants are well informed of the rules for using the association amenities. How many folks can use the pool? Or what are the pool hours? Do children require escorts to the pool? Or are there any age restrictions? Can guests use the fitness rooms? Will the tenant have access to storage areas? Thank you for listening to me today. Comment below if you would like to see a longer education session on this topic or to share any tips you have on this topic. Bye.